I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Welcome to Ozark City Hall.
sorry.
We're glad you're here for the Board of Aldermen meeting and engaging with your elected officials. Listening to perspectives of city residents, business owners, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before the meeting begins, let's review our rules of order. These ensure the meeting is orderly and efficient while allowing everyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do so. There are two opportunities for you to speak: during the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion of the meeting, and during public discussion of new bills and resolutions. During the agenda visitor and guest portion, anyone who signed up at the city clerk's office before 5 p.m. the Wednesday before the meeting can speak to aldermen about the topic they specified. Now, in the public discussion of new bills and resolutions, that allows you to give comments for aldermen to consider before they make a decision. Anytime anyone is speaking, the following rules apply. First, only one person should speak at a time. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your comments until it's your turn. Second, anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. Third, you must first provide your name and address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. These forms are provided near the entrance. You also must state your name and address to the Board of Aldermen using the podium microphone. Fourth, all comments should be addressed to the mayor and aldermen. Finally, all speakers have 5 minutes. A digital timer will show you the countdown. The light will change from green to flashing yellow when 2 minutes are left. It will stay yellow at the 1 minute mark. Your comment time is up when the light turns red. The mayor or alderman may have additional questions for speakers after this time limit. Occasionally, the board will invite someone to make a presentation at the meeting. This is only to give information to the board about a specific topic. These presenters will have no time limit on giving their information. This meeting will be live streamed and recorded with video and audio unless there are technical difficulties. The use of cell phones or other devices is discouraged during the meeting. Please silence your phones right now. Again, thank you for being here and engaging with the City of Ozark. The meeting will begin shortly.
Now we'll do roll call.
Alderman Aiken?
Here.
Alderman Campbell?
Here.
Alderman Galloway?
Here.
Alderman Hutchinson?
Here.
Alderman Metcalf?
Here.
Alderman Snyder?
Here.
We have 6 aldermen present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. We have our first item, our minutes from October 7th of a regular meeting. Were there any questions regarding these minutes? Any corrections or anything? Okay, I am not seeing any movement, so is a motion entertained that we approve these?
Yeah, Your Honor, I move that we approve the meetings of October 7th, regular meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion is, all in favor of voting on the motion to approve the October 7th, 2024 regular meeting minutes, do so by a show of hands. And that motion was made by Alderman Metcalf and second by Alderman Snyder. Okay. There's no ceremonial matters tonight, but we do have scheduled guest visitor. We have with us our President and CEO of the Ozark Chamber.
I heard Maria say that scheduled guests have no time limit, so I'm going to take advantage of that tonight and go for a full 5
Maria,
minutes maybe.
Maria, turn it on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having, once again, glad to be here. Glad to be a part of a strategic partnership with the City of Ozark and the Ozark Police Department, Ozark Parks Department. Lots of cool things that we're working on with the Ozark Chamber. This, as a matter of fact, coming up this Thursday, we're celebrating our 75th birthday. And I got to tell you something. I wanted to do a little research on the history of Ozark Chamber and kind of so I went over to a really cool place over here called the library. You know, we have one of those in town. It's really neat. You get a library card. It gives you access to all this amazing information. And I dove into the old archives of the Christian County Republican and really just read some of those. And I'm going to share some of this on Thursday. I'll share a little bit more in depth. But I will say, it was amazing to me, the partnerships that even way back then that the city had with the Ozark Chamber, which was all volunteers, right? It was like $10 a year to join the chamber. And they had like 65 members or something like that. We're gonna tell a little bit more of that story on Thursday. But some of the collaborations, like including bringing FASCO and how instrumental that the chamber was in bringing FASCO way back when, back in the 1960s and 70s, into the Ozark area, which brought 600 jobs. I mean, so it's just a neat partnership that we're going to explore just a little bit. Plus, we have a special guest. Congressman Eric Burleson's going to be here. Our mayor's going to do a proclamation. He's going to have a congressional proclamation. I believe the county is going to do something as well to celebrate 75 years. We'd love to have you guys in attendance. And of course, we'll have some other great information too, what's going on around town, upcoming future events and those sort of things. A couple of other things I wanted to challenge you with just a little bit. We're starting to really pick up our ribbon cuttings again. That's something that was kind of gone away. And, you know, here recently we celebrated a business that brought in about a $2 million business into the Ozark area, which is Sinorama. They were located in Springfield. They purchased a building. They're over there by just right next to Lambert's and did a major remodel on it, brought their $1.37 million operation down to the Ozark area. So it's moments like that that we're going to try to do a better job of getting the information out, because that needs to be celebrated. That's a big win. And then they brought in about 15 jobs, I believe is how many guys that they employ. So that's a big win for us to attract. And by the way, congratulations. I know Kristen's here tonight. Show Me Christian County worked with the owners of Sinorama as well to help get them here. But we're going to have more of those events coming up. We're trying to really try to showcase this community with those ribbon cuttings. We've got a new and energized ambassador program, and they're excited about helping and volunteering. Plus, when we have a ribbon cutting, we want the community to celebrate, especially when they're the fun ones. Like we're going to be at El Puente coming up on October the 29th. We have another one coming up at the Neat Repeat store. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary in Ozark, which is over there by Lowe's and Walmart. And then, of course, we have another one celebrating their time in Ozark well as Meridian Title. And we're also booking some other ones in the future as well. So some upcoming events. Ribbon cuttings are a great way for the community to showcase, hey, thank you for bringing your business to our Ozark community. And we always want to try to get a big turnout for those. Something else we're working on, Marine, go to the next event, is the Christmas parade. I met with Lieutenant Dyer, right? Jared Dyer, right? Is that right? Yeah, Dryer. Thank you. I was close, this close. Met with him today, laying out the routes. We still need a lot of helpers and volunteers. You know, this is an event, again, I can't stress enough. We're trying to make this a true community event that is free. We're not charging people. We've got our permit approved from the city, so we're ready to go. Ozark PD's on board. Ozark Fire's on board. We've just got to get some more helpers to help us with the setup stage area so we can do more things on the square. We're working on inviting more craft festival or craft vendors and those sort of things to make it a real true fun atmosphere down here on the square on the 23rd. So that's coming along really well, and it'll be here before you know it, guys. I mean, Christmas is here already, basically. And then the other one too, I just want to remind you guys, we are getting closer to the State of the Community Address, and I think Maria is going to be sending out an email at some point. Of course, the aldermen are welcome. Anybody with a email address of or the city of Ozark here, Ozark PD, is obviously welcome to attend. I think it's going to be a really nice event that we will be live streaming as well. We've got to go over and do some tests on that, but I think it's going to be kind of cool. And then something else I want to leak to you tonight that I just put together today, as a matter of fact, something that I think when we go to our chamber luncheons, you know, Eric and I were talking about before the meeting, I'll try to make it quick. He goes, everything you do is fast. Well, sometimes we need to slow down. And so one of the things that I want to be able to offer from the chamber's perspective is a new podcast called Showcase Ozark. I love that word, Showcase Ozark. We used it for the expo, but it has so much more potential, whether it's Showcase Ozark podcast or Showcase Ozark ribbon cuttings, whatever that looks like. We're exploring that brand extension. Of course, Ozark Chamber is the main brand, but this will be a chance for us to really dive into bigger topics. Now, do I expect us to go viral with these? No. But it will give us an opportunity to showcase some fun things, some exciting things, have a little fun with it, maybe tell some old stories, and then bring in a little bit more in depth about something that's going on in the community. And we'll go straight to Facebook, or I probably YouTube Live with it. Probably go straight to YouTube Live. It'll be a shareable link, and hopefully it just showcases our community a little bit more, showing that we are trying to be as transparent and open. And it's not going to be something people can interact with. But it is something that's going to be kind of new that really is focused to our Ozark community. So I'm really, I'm anxious to see how that goes. So I set up the podcast room today. It sounds really, really good. I got to put some more soundproofing on the walls. It'll make it sound a little bit better, but everything will work pretty flawlessly on some tests today. So I think it's going to come across a very, very professional type event. I'm also very proud of our board of directors. They've been working hard behind the scenes. We're going to be adding, I think, 3 new board members here in the near future. We've got a few stepping down, but I like the way that our board is shaping up for 2025. And tomorrow I get to have lunch with our city administrator, and I get to be the very first one to take him to Rosie Joe's Cafe. So that'll be exciting, and we'll see how he likes their chicken and their pie. So any questions from the Ozark Chamber, guys? Yes, sir.
It is true when,
You're red, buddy. Think you need to be green?
but it is true when ordering chicken at Rosie Joe's, you do have to give them a 45-minute.
You do.
Yes.
If you want the fried chicken, we need to call them about 11:15 and order it. So you just, we'll talk
It would be
tomorrow.
your recommendation, wouldn't it, that
I-
you order the fried chicken?
Maybe I'll just make that happen tomorrow. Go ahead and make that phone call. You like fried chicken, Eric? Okay, we'll get the fried chicken. So there you go. Anything else, guys? Well,
Yes,
you know how
ma'am.
to get a hold of me. Appreciate all your hard work, and really looking forward to our continued
Alderman
partnership. Yes.
Hutchinson.
It probably was on that, but I didn't see what time, the state of the community.
Oh, it's from 6 to 8. And just as a reminder, that format will be, because it is at the Stained Glass Theater, we'll be in the courtyard with a very nice, heavy hors d'oeuvres type dinner. It's not dinner because we don't know how many people are going to come. They don't have enough seats to fit 270, but we see like open networking in a nice small plate with some really nice stuff on it, not just like ravioli, I mean, something that's actually pretty decent. And that'll be from 6 to 6:45. And then at 6:45, we'll transition into the Stained Glass Theater. We'll have a small presentation from our sponsor, small presentation from the Stained Glass Theater. They're going to do one of their numbers from their Christmas program for us, so to kind of warm the night up. And then I anticipate about a 30 minutes or so of each of our leaders, which would be our city administrator, our police chief, fire chief, myself, and then the superintendent of schools and Lynn Morris. And he's supposed to have his prosthetic by then, so that'll be good because there's no ramp to get him on the stage. And then after that, we're going to do with the help of Maria and Dan Ortega from the Ozark Public Schools, we're going to do, let the audience members text in questions so we can kind of, get some of those questions that they might want to ask if they do. If not, we'll get out of there on a shorter night, and I anticipate us being done by about 8 o'clock. Be a real easy night. And we're working on childcare, but no promises on that yet. So,
I don't see anyone else. Thank you, sir.
okay. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate your report tonight. Thank you, Chris. Okay, we'll now move to our first reading of bills and resolutions. I have a question I forgot to ask. Is anybody here on Zoom tonight? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we'll go to our first reading, and this is bill number 3605.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3605 on its first reading by title only.
And seconded by,
Second.
okay. The motion is to place bill number 3605 on its first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second Alderman Snyder. All in favor of the motion to discuss bill 3605, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the corporate boundaries of the City of Ozark, Missouri by annexing one parcel, approximately 26 acres, located at 1505 South 17th Street.
Okay, we'll recognize our Director, Cameron Smith.
Yes, good evening. Yes, this is for the annexation of approximately 26 acres. This property we refer to a lot of times as the Warren property. That's the family ownership of this property for its history. It is north of Walmart area. It's that vacant farmland that is set on top of the hill there. But again, it's for the annexation of this property. It's approximately 26 acres. And looking at this on the map, you can kind of see the surrounding city limits. It's kind of that right away of 65 that is annexed into the city, and then the South Street. The portion to the east is actually separated by the 17th Street right away. It's not in the city, and that's something staff has been looking at with the developer. The property is compact and contiguous to city limits of Ozark, and we have determined it can be served by city water and sewer. There actually is an existing 12-inch water main and an 8-inch sewer main on the southeast corner of this property. The property is within the Tier 1 of urban service area, and then all requirements were met for the annexation of this property. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval 9-0. With that, I mean, this was a pretty straightforward application. It was easily identified. It met all those requirements. With that, be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, Alderman Snyder.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
In reference to the small parcel where I believe it's a Verizon tower, is that correct?
There's a tower right there.
Yeah, do we have any concerns when we annex this in that have to do with that tower? Any concerns whatsoever?
No concerns from our stance. This property will remain in the county and it is quite a distance away. There's nothing that we have determined to be of any concerns for the annexation.
Okay, and the second part of the question, information in the packet said there was some wetlands concerns that will be addressed. Is that going to impact this annexation in any way?
Not necessarily the annexation. That'll be further identified on the zoning application. What that means is when at the time they go to develop, they'll have to investigate that further and determine the appropriate permitting procedures. But we don't anticipate any impacts. That wouldn't be out of the norm for engineering work on the property.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Director Smith? Okay, not seeing. This is first reading, so at this time I'm going to open to public discussion. Anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of Bill number 3605? Okay.
Good evening, Kristen Hazeltine, Show Me Christian County. This is a project that we've been involved with for over 2.5 years. And so this is something that we're very excited about. It'll be great for our community. And that's all we really wanted to say tonight. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else who would speak in favor of this bill? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Freeland. I'm the civil engineer working on this project, and I'm just here to answer any questions and just emphasize the developers' excitement about this project, and I think it'll be really good for this community.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm not seeing any. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this bill? Okay. I am not seeing movement. Anyone here who would speak against bill number 3605? Okay. I'm not seeing movement. I'm going to now close this to public discussion. Any final response from the board? Okay, not seeing any. Bill number 3605, we held over to future meeting. We're now going to move on to our next bill, which is bill number 3606.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3606 on its first reading by title only.
Seconded by, okay, I think, okay. Bill number 3606 would be on its first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of voting on this motion to discuss bill number 3606, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property located at 1505 South 17th Street.
Okay, welcome back, Director Cameron Smith.
Yes, this is the second component of the application, the zoning request. The request is to rezone this property to C2 General Commercial. The property is currently A1 Agriculture in the county. The property is currently vacant. The surrounding zoning is agriculture and vacant to the north. There is commercial to the east that is undeveloped and developed by the Walgreens facility. To the south is the Walmart and Lowe's shopping area. And then to the west is residential across Highway 65. Again, the property can be serviced by city water and sewer. Additional development will require a stormwater hydrology report and a traffic impact study. And following up on the wetland questions, those actually were identified as these two farm ponds. And so with their design, that is where they anticipate having their detention facilities, which is a natural area for that. And so they'll re-engineer those to confirm there's no concerns. The applicant has also already started their traffic impact studies, and they have been circulating that around for reviews, anticipating the application for the preliminary plat, which will come in the following months. And the property additionally shall comply with the Highway 65 overlay district and the transportation overlay district. And again, evaluating kind of the guiding factors of the city code for zoning applications. Item 1, the relatedness to the proposed amendment to the goals outlined in the comprehensive plan. The land objective goal number one is provide opportunity for future growth. And again, to manage that growth in a manner that creates a compact and contiguous development. This parcel of land does abut the city limits on two sides and provides opportunity for future development that is compact and contiguous to the city of Ozark. In objective 12, ensure future development is compatible with adjoining streets. West South Street, Business 65 is a primary arterial. South 20th Street is a commercial street, and 17th Street is a secondary arterial. Those are all suitable street classifications for a commercial development such as this. Economic development goal number one, attract new businesses and visitors to the city. Again, commercial development of this parcel would provide opportunities for those new businesses to come into Ozark. Future land use map, it does recommend a future land use of commercial. This application is appropriate for that recommendation. And then item 2, existing uses of the property within the general area of the property in question. The existing uses to the south and east, again, are commercial, which is compatible to this application. The residential property to the west are separated by Highway 65, and the property to the north is the unincorporated remaining tract of this this landowner's land, which is used for agriculture at this time. Number 3, the zoning classification of the property within the general area of the property in question. The request of C2 does align with the existing zoning classifications of the area. The property to the north of being undeveloped is still zoned and will be zoned agriculture. And then again, the residential to the west is separated by Highway 65. So it is compatible with the adjoining properties and uses of the area. Number 4, the suitability of the property in question to the uses permitted under the existing zoning classification. Again, the current zoning is agriculture in the county, which does not allow for the highest and best use of this parcel. In addition, with the urban service area agreement we have with the county, this would require the consideration of annexing and zoning in the city of Ozark. The commercial development would be an appropriate desirable use for this property, given its location to the major corridors and the surrounding developments and its access to the interchange of Highway 65. And number 5, the trend of development, if any, in the general area of the property in question, including changes, if any, which have taken place in its present zoning classification. The commercial development has occurred in this area for quite some time, and since I've been here, and I know years ago, this property has always been inquired upon by developers for commercial development. So I think over time, we've anticipated this commercial development would occur. So the property is being located at the intersection of this major highway interchange, which all makes it really desirable for development of commercial. The applicant did have the required neighborhood meetings. The property owner's intentions are to annex and zone this property. The neighbors' concerns that were noted was removal of an existing tree line that's on the northern boundary of this property, concerns of seeing the development from their property, concerns of decrease in property value, and concerns of children's safety in traffic or increased traffic. My understanding is most of these neighbors that came were all to the north of this development. The applicant's representative didn't provide a response to the concerns noted by the neighbors. Again, all the requirements have been met for this zoning application. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval 9-0. At the Planning and Zoning public meeting, we did not have any public turnout and come to the meeting to speak. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I am not seeing any. Thank you, sir. This is our first reading, so I will now open this up to public discussion. Anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of bill number 3606?
Good evening again. My name is Kevin Freeland. I'm just here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. I'm not seeing from the board. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyone here who is opposed to bill number 3606? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you want to speak for the bill. I apologize.
Right. Jeannie McFall, 1324 East Warren Avenue, Ozark. I just had a question about the access to the tower, if that will be going through city property, because we had an issue with Greenbridge and an easement on some property that was being annexed at one time.
Okay. Dr. Cameron?
And then my other question is about the sidewalks. Will they actually be out on South Street and 17th Street? Because it says it's required along all frontage streets. And will that be regulated by MoDOT if it's out on South Street?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we're organized, Director Cameron.
Try to answer both those questions the best I can. If not, I'll turn it over to Caleb to clarify and then Jeremy to clarify on the sidewalks. But I believe as they're looking at the preliminary plat, I believe they'll probably maintain that access easement that's existing to the tower, that drive there. They'll maintain that to preserve that access for the tower. As far as the sidewalks, yes, all road frontage would be required to have sidewalks. Even their internal streets will be required to have sidewalks. So if there's not a sidewalk today, they'll be required to construct a sidewalk on all those three sides, unless they qualify for a buyout scenario. We haven't gotten to that point to look to see if they do qualify. And then in regards to the MoDOT, we have worked with them in the past. In some cases, the sidewalks have to be in an easement on private property because they don't want them in the right of way. In some cases, they will allow them right of way with the maintenance agreement with MoDOT. So yes, to answer those questions, the access will be preserved and there will be sidewalks required along all street frontages.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Sorry, I'll rush. I'll ask, is anyone here opposed to bill number 3606? I'm not seeing movement, so at this time, I'll close this to public discussion. Last time for board response. Any final response? I'm not seeing any, so bill number 3606 will be held for a future meeting. We'll move on to bill number 3607.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3607 on first reading by its title only.
Second by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is to place bill number 3607 on its first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill number 3607, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving a contract with Trail Spring Incorporated for the construction of a pump track on city property.
Okay. And I believe Director Jeremy Parson will be speaking to us.
Good evening. This probably is going to be a group effort. I know at least myself and Mr. Ponzer will be talking about this, but that's an important note. This has been a group effort. Just so you all know, Trail Spring is a local organization that actually reached out to us as a result of the excitement that our Trails Initiative has created. And they've done some really good work around the Fellows Lake region. They've done some great work down at Twin Rivers, or Two Rivers, and just done a lot of great things for the community, well tied into the community. And I say it's a group effort. They met with us because of the excitement of the Chadwick Flyer, but then we met with senior staff and kind of went through this because this is unique, but it's exciting. The first question, it's been a while since we went over this, is what's a pump track, right? A lot of us aren't out there on pump tracks, but it is kind of designed for, I'd say medium to, I don't know, high skill level, but there's different segments that you can get in to really enjoy yourself on all sorts of bikes. But it is an amenity for a trail loving community or a community. When we put this in this park setting, it will truly just become another node of activity to attract people to our area and ultimately to the trail system. Here's some pictures of some typical pump track images. I will let you know it's a fairly small footprint. When I first saw these, I thought, wow, that's going to eat up some land. But it averages between 15 to 20,000 square feet. They're tight and they're pretty easy to maintain. But excited that they came to us, excited that we've had all these good conversations. Cameron Smith's been involved. Amanda has been involved working through this contract, which is unique, and we'll get into some of that. But one of the reasons that we all sat around the table and tried to really identify what's a great location for this. And this is just a snapshot of our master trail plan. In the blue, you can see sidewalks. In the dark green, you can see trails that are already built. The dashed green just shows you this kind of hub and spoke system of trails that will be coming into the parks. So again, this will just add another amenity. But for site-specific questions and for how this will all fit into the master plan, I'm going to hand it over to Hayden, and we'll end with either a duet or something. Okay.
Good evening. So like Mr. Parsons said, it really has been a group effort, and I can't say thank you enough to the team that got us to this point, because frankly, this is going to be an amazing asset for the park system, but without Amanda, Jeremy, and Cameron, it never would have gotten to this point, and many other players as well. Within the park system, we're looking at the Neil Grubauer Park. And a big part of that is there's a lot going on at Grubauer Park, but we're reaching the end of that development. There's an open land to the west of the water tower that has parking, but the neat thing is this is connected to our existing infrastructure, just like Jeremy identified. We are looking at potentially a new pavilion and bathroom. We entered into a contract with Cochrane for project administration on that earlier this year. And so with restroom amenities on site, with existing parking, with the playground, this makes this truly a destination park. That being said, this isn't just for those people coming from out of town, but the neat thing about pump tracks is the momentum that you create when you're out on that facility. That's for kiddos with their scooters. My son loves driving his little scooter around. It's not necessarily a BMX bike, but pump tracks are designed for that as well. You can do the BMX bikes as well. But of course, this is designed, I believe, in talking with Trail Spring for kiddos of all ages. And so with the Neil Grubauer Park already positioned so closely to so many residential areas with restrooms, with parking, and connected to our biking pathways that already exist, we're very excited about that. I believe there's one more diagram kind of showing our master plan. So this is from our 2018 master plan. Kind of identifying the facilities on the park. Again, we're looking at a space that isn't spoken for. We're already having to make some updates to our Frisbee golf course. For those of you who don't know, that Frisbee golf course is very well known in the area. I'm not a Frisbee golfer, but people come from all over the place to golf the Neil and Betty Grubauer Frisbee golf course. With the addition of that pavilion and restroom that's coming into play, we are moving some of those courses. We will be able to make those changes all at the same time in light of this pump track from our friends at Trail Spring. I believe if I click one more, I might get into Jeremy's next present. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So this is where I think we'll bring it across the finish line. So I don't know if Jeremy wants to join me. This is a super exciting project. And the beautiful thing is this goes right into our master plan. We're at the end of 2017, 8 years of trail planning. We have accomplished so many things on our master parks plan when it comes to Garrison Springs, when it comes to the trails, when it comes to a lot of our facilities. This is just upping the game. When we sat down and master park planned in 2018, we had no idea the extent of our trails. The Chadwick Flyer was a dream 20 years in the making, and I know we're much closer now, but this is a critical part of that. Anything else you want to?
No, I just want to say that, as far as our participation, and Mrs. Calloway can jump in here, what we're doing is basically entering into a contract with Trail Spring to allow them to really get off the ground with some fundraising efforts. That shows our commitment in terms of land to provide for the space needed for this facility. And we're confident that between our public and private partnership and continuing to build on the synergy of the Chadwick Flyer, that hopefully we can get those donors out there. And they've worked with several in the past. Their list is extensive. I don't want to go too big into the details, but they have had success with their donors. So this shows our commitment. Amanda, I don't know if you want to say.
Happy to answer them.
Okay. So any questions regarding the contract?
Any questions? Okay, I'm not seeing response, so any further comments, Director Hayden?
Other than that, we're very excited at Parks. No further comment.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, this is first reading, so at this time, I'm going to open up to the public for bill number 3607. Anyone here who will speak in favor of this bill? Okay, I am not seeing, oh, yes, okay. Hesitation?
Kristen Hazeltine, Show Me Christian County. Quality of life. This is what brings people in. This is what keeps people here. It brings in businesses. This is just another asset for Ozark that would be a great thing for all of us. And so we are definitely in favor of this possibility. So
Thank you. Anyone else in speaking in favor of 3607? Okay, I am not seeing movement, so anyone here opposed to bill number 3607? Not seeing any movement. I'm going to now close the public discussion. One last time, board, any response or questions? I'm not seeing any, so bill number 3607 be held for future meeting. We're now going to move on to bill number 3608.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we place bill number 3608 on first reading by title only.
Seconded by?
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we place bill number 3608 on its first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Hutcherson. All in favor of voting to discuss bill number 3608, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving a contract for professional services related to operation of the Public Works Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Systems.
Okay, welcome back, Director Jeremy Parson.
All right, good deal. We'll go back to that presentation and kind of explain some things. I do want to just start off by saying that this is a contract that we've had in place for multiple years. SCADA is critical to our entire utility system. It is our eyes and ears. You know, the thing I heard the other day that I felt like I needed to say, the chief of police was talking about a force multiplier. That's what this is for us. I mean, it really is. It allows us to get real-time data. We've been using this for about, and that's supervisory control and data acquisition. We've been using this for years now. I will tell you, it's like anything with technology. As we take on additional, basically infrastructure, lift stations, things like that, it does require that they tie into the system so that these all speak to one another, essentially. But right now, we're in very good shape in terms of the communication, the notifications, but a lot in that statement there. But I want you to know that basically this helps us do our job better, is what it comes down to. And then that the Nintendo graphic that you see there, it looks kind of like an old school Nintendo. That is our dashboard. That's how we can determine, hey, where are we setting on things? How are we doing on things? Are there any abnormalities? Are there any things that we're seeing in terms of an alert? I love it because it even gives you smiley faces when things are going well. I mean, that is high tech. But no, it really is bottom line, optimizing, quality control, analysis, and it really impacts the decisions that we make. So ultimately, we put this out for bid. We only had one qualified bidder. I can say without a doubt that RW Vought has done amazing things for this city and getting us on kind of the cutting edge of technology. We really enjoy working with him. And actually, Greg Douglas is here tonight. If we really want to get into the nitty gritty, this man knows more about sewer than I'll ever pretend to know. But they have a great relationship with RW Vought. And again, he's done a lot of great things for us. Please note that this is not just for sewer. We also use that same system for water so that we can get that real-time data, respond much more quickly. We even got it now to where we're tied into certain hydrants around town that will give us alerts if we have a water leak, a change in pressure, or any of those things that really sound the alarm. But with that, in a nutshell, that is the presentation for SCADA. Again, it's a contract renewal. We're excited about it. Oh, please know that this is a not to exceed. What we'll do is come to you during the budget presentations and show you the exact projects and say, here's what we're going to knock out this year with your blessing. But we need to have him under contract simply because, if any of these components go down or we need to upgrade, we need to have him on our team. So, and Greg, you want to get up here and say anything? Or you? He's not lying.
Okay. Any questions for Director Parson?
All
Okay,
right.
I think we're
Thank
good. Okay. Well, this is first reading, therefore I'm going to open this up. Anyone in favor of bill number 3608? This is your time. Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone opposed to bill number 3608? Okay, I'm now going to close this to public discussion. Board, any final response from anyone? Not seeing any. Bill number 3608 will be held at a future meeting. We're now going to draw attention to bill number 3609.
Your Honor, I make a motion to place bill number 3609 on its first reading by title and description only.
And seconded by?
Second.
Okay, the motion is to place bill number 3609 on first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Snyder, seconded by Alderman Hutcherson. All in favor to discuss bill number 3609, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Gold Mechanical Incorporated for on-call as-needed heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services at the city facilities.
Okay. And we're recognized Director Hayden.
Good evening. We are about to take a deep dive into HVAC over the next two bills. The first one is for preventative maintenance and services needed. So as many of you know, the OC is a large facility, and we're going to dive into that. Ultimately, this is just the next stage of getting that facility where we need it to be. So the process so far, ultimately staff identified a need with over 67,000 square feet of space. With over 23 units, there's often issues with our HVAC, if you believe that. We identified the need for an on-call contract so we could quickly and easily overcome those issues as they happened. That also allows us to have a service contract implemented as well. The next bill, we're proposing new equipment for the facility. This will allow us to make sure that that service is maintained to have the best possible lifespan. The park staff worked with the rest of the city staff to go out with an RFP. We ultimately conducted site visits both at the OC as well as other municipal buildings, walking those interested firms around to those buildings, letting them evaluate existing conditions, seeing what the buildings look like, what the units look like, and diving into it there. I will note that those site visits were conducted separately for the site visits for new equipment at the OC. Finally, city staff explored those submittals. We had 3 qualified submittals based on the abilities to perform the services. If you all recall, the Dectron was brought before this board in the summer of 2023, I believe. That is the unit that conducts the HVAC at our pool, our aquatic facility. It's a very specialized piece of equipment. And so the agency that utilizes this service contract or provides the service contract would need to be able to provide that. We've also looked at what that would look like, that service contract, in relation to our previous service needs. Our selection is highlighted in the final slide, but I won't spoil that yet. I do want to talk about what the need is. So the OC specifically is what I'll talk about tonight. It's a massive unit, or it's a massive system. The unit's not even appropriate. There are 21 rooftop units. Some of those are 40-ton units. Those are the size. They're about 12 feet tall. They're the size of a small bus. Some of those are smaller units. There's also our Dectron and a number of small to large package units, even some split units powering our server room and different areas like that. Again, all together, those control the climate at the OC, but keep in mind the OC is not a typical building. Some rooms need to be held at 90 degrees for our aquatic facility. Other rooms are kept substantially cooler, our fitness facility. So these units are put to the test. Our staff need to be able to respond to those needs quickly. You know that if anything happens with HVAC, that is a quick concern of those who are habitating that room. Finally, as we look at a equipment bill, next up, we want to protect that investment. We are about to approach the board with a request for a substantial investment in the HVAC infrastructure of the OC. This contract is similar to our electrical services as needed. However, we did add to this contract a planned maintenance component as well. To have this contract will protect that investment when the time comes. Finally, we want to have certified staff conducting the service on this equipment. This is not your home HVAC unit. This is not change your filters twice a year, but this is substantially more than that. Our team at the OC, in coordination with our previous service provider, has conducted that service in the past, but we're excited to work with an outside agency to ensure that we're checking all the right boxes when it comes to expanding the lifespan of these units. Ooh, my watch, or not my watch, my clicker. Ooh. So ultimately, here's the bid tab. It is an odd looking one. I will note that at the top, we have our annual spring and fall maintenance, and then it goes down into the hourly maintenance. Now, conducting basically an in-depth dive with our 2023 service, we do get the best bang for our buck from Gold Mechanical. They are the lowest qualified bidder. They also are the lowest qualified bidder in the sense, or not the lowest, but they are a qualified bidder when it comes to the annual inspection. The bid from Specialty Air, we don't believe included the filters. When asked for clarification, they could not provide that part. However, Gold Mechanical, we did get a full comprehensive list of what that includes, including the filters. Now, that being said, with an hourly service rate substantially lower and with a markup on materials, Gold Mechanical did become the lowest responsible bidder. Beyond that, they also have a substantial footprint in service in the area, servicing different Springfield Parks community centers, Evangel University, and other local municipalities. They are here this evening. A representative from Gold Mechanical is in the back, and they are just as excited as I am, I'm sure, to take any questions from the board if you have them.
Okay. Any questions? I'm not seeing it right now.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Okay. Again, this is first reading, so I'll open up to the public at this time. Anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of bill number 3609? Not seeing movement. Anyone here who's opposed to bill number 3609? Okay. I'm not seeing movement. I'm going to close now at this time public to hearing. Any final response from the board? Yes, sir.
I'm just happy to see that we have a preventive maintenance plan
Yes.
on an asset that has deteriorated over the past couple of years. And now that it's being put back together, let's keep it together and keep it operating for these folks.
Yes. I agree. Anyone else? Okay, well, bill number 3609 we held over future meeting. Okay, we now move to bill number 3610.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to place bill number 3610 on its first reading, please.
Second by, okay. Motion is place bill number 3610 on its first reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Snyder, second by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3610, do so by a show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Gold Mechanical Incorporated for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning repairs at the Ozark Community Center.
Okay, and we'll recognize Director Hayden once again.
All right. Our deep dive will continue with the next section here. And so ultimately, we are excited to bring forward a proposal for new equipment. For those of you who are able to catch us on the facility assessment update last Thursday, this is the biggest investment in the OC facility, and frankly, some of the most necessary. I'm going to dive into the numbers on what tier different things are, what things various pieces exist at in the priority level. However, anyone who's been in the OC can tell you that sometimes that building runs ridiculously hot. Sometimes it runs ridiculously cold. And I'll dive into some of the reasoning behind that as well. And so, again, the layout in this presentation is much the same. Staff identified a need. If we were looking at it, ultimately, we spent over $50,000 on repair to maintain the HVAC in 2023. That's a pretty substantial number. And so it is at the end of life. Staff also worked to work on the facility assessment, where an outside engineering firm came in and assessed the lifespan of those units, where they were at there, and they did prioritize those units. In the 2024 budget, the year we're existing in now, the board was asked and approved some money for replacement of those first basically tier of HVAC units. The board approved $840,000, and this is a part of that bid. Going forward, of course, the facility assessment found that there were issues. That was done by RTM Engineering specifically for the mechanical side. 8 were identified as priority 1, as they were either inoperational or just about there. 12 were identified as priority 2, as they were at the end of their lifespan and seeing decreased efficiencies and higher rates of repair. In the next slide, I'm going to identify which areas are in which priority level. However, I do want to note that some of those that were identified in March as priority 2 are no longer operational now. And so it is time. We have kind of pushed this to the point where we have to do it. But that's okay, because there is a plan in place to make sure that it is moving forward. The bid process took place much like bid processes do. We did have a base bid and 2 alternates. We did a mandatory site walkthrough, at the OC. 7 contractors were in attendance and ultimately 4 submitted bids. Our chosen bid is here this evening, Gold Mechanical, but there's also a representative from the manufacturer, Aon Units. Aaron Fields is here in case there's any questions when that time comes as well. So Aaron is in the back with Carla. What's the need? And so again, the same need. It's the same system, right? It's a much larger building. However, there are some varying needs. There's extensive repairs happening constantly on these units. Knowing that we were taking this leap, we've already been able to reduce the expense this year. However, there's some triaging. And I said Thursday, we don't do Band-Aids unless it's at the pool or in our summer camp. It's time to make a permanent fix. Now, these units that we currently have, they had a life expectancy of 15 years. We're approaching the start of year 17. So it is time. Updates do also bring efficiency. In talking with the manufacturer, we can expect to see between 15 to 30% savings on HVAC energy consumption. That's a pretty substantial number when you think about the square footage on our building. That results from reducing HVAC runtime during non-working hours, temperature and equipment control, as well as equipment that's frankly just at the end of life and not working as well. One thing I do want to touch on, and it comes especially important later, is our building automation system is outdated. Some of our units are controlled manually by a thermostat on the unit, on the roof, and that is not ideal for when you need to go and tweak the temperature up and down to climb to the roof. That being said, that building automation system will also allow different rooms to have, let's say, rotary or chambers there. We'll be able to pump the AC up or down respectively, depending on the time of year, based on those bodies. A proper automation system is also going to allow some better efficiency as well. If a room sits empty all day, we don't need to keep it at 68, 69 degrees and reduce the use of space heaters, etc. There we go. So here's our bid tab and ultimately the bids. I do just want to point out, you can see the base bid included basically priority 1 units, as well as that building automation system. Basically, the brain of the system needs to be replaced. We have all these wonderful units, they're doing things, the brain's not working. And that's important, just like it is for us. We get into alternate bid 1, and you can see where there are some units that are rated as tier 2. However, some of those units since March have become non-operational. They are functional through this winter. They do have emergency heat, but instead of letting them slap a $3,000 compressor on them, I said, can we just wait and see what comes next? And so those units are not operational in the offices, in our conference room. Nothing that affects patrons, but it's not chilly, but it has gotten a little warm this past week in our offices. That being said, then we get down to the alternate bid 2. Those units are actually faring better. However, they are reaching their end of life as well. Now, as you look, you can see our bid tab to the right. We did have Gold Mechanical again as the lowest responsible bidder. We did have to seek more information when it came to payment and performance bonds as required by law for a project of this size and amount. And so you'll see that represented in another category that we solicited from Gold Mechanical. Single zone VAV is also something that was recommended by the original engineer. That was described to me, and I'll share this, but I'm sure they can go into much better details. But instead of, I drive a hybrid for better or for worse, sometimes that hybrid kicks off, right? You've got an electric battery that does the thing, rough on an engine. This is basically throttling that engine up and down. You're going to get more consistent run times. It doesn't shut that thing off. It allows it to throttle up when there's people in the room, but throttle down whenever it's empty. It's not that rough start and stop that you see on a unit. And so ultimately, it's going to be better for the lifespan of the unit, but also better for the comfort of the people in that room. With that being said, Gold Mechanical was the lowest responsible bidder, and I believe I am happy to answer any questions.
Oh, okay. Anyone?
Gold Mechanical is here this evening too.
Yeah. Any questions for the Go reps?
Can we expect
Yes.
the longevity on the new equipment to be about the same, or has technology shifted at all in that regard?
So when I spoke to Aaron, I believe that they have said that the expected lifespan should be upwards of 20 years if properly maintained. And so we're in a better spot. Of course, manufacturing has bettered. 20 years from now, we'll be having a similar conversation, but ultimately it's one we'll be ready for and ready to jump on.
Campbell.
I saw a note there on the controls, and I didn't, well, I'll just ask the question, and it may be a Aon or a Gold Mechanical question. Do we currently have Honeywell controls on the system?
We do not. So the system we have currently is a closed source system. It's one that is obsolete. And so the reason that Honeywell was looked at is because it frankly is open source. City staff have more ability to connect to it and utilize it. And then it, as an open source software, generally is a little bit harder to become obsolete. But I would be happy to let our friends with Aon probably answer that one a little bit more in depth.
If they have more in-depth to go, I mean, you've basically answered my question,
Okay.
but if they want to go more
I'll look
in-depth,
at Aaron
I'm
and
open
see
to that.
if there's any more in depth. And you'll have to come down here.
So right now, with those 21 units, the way they would be set up is that the Honeywell control would have a controller in each of those individual units. And then all of those units would be tied back to a central controller. So one spot for an end user to go to where you could see all the temperatures, humidity, scheduling, and that sort of thing. And that would be tied into the one location.
Yes, sir.
And do you pick up on the CO2 overrides within that same?
There are some CO sensors that are in there. These units, though, from design are to set and maintain a minimum ventilation requirement, outside air ventilation. So going along with the single zone VAV approach that was mentioned earlier, basically what that is components in the unit such as your compressors, instead of them being an on-off type, they would be a variable capacity to run from 100% down to 10%. So as the load changes in the building, the load changes in our ambient conditions, the unit looks at room temperature and RH and varies the airflow along with the refrigeration system.
Okay, and just one more question, I think. Do we have a specific makeup air unit? A
dedicated
and
outdoor air.
Dedicated.
So
okay.
each of these units has a fixed amount. The original design has each of them bringing in a set amount of outside air individually. So you don't have just one dedicated outdoor air unit.
Yeah. So what I'm understanding is that basically with this new system, Honeywell, you will go set each week, each day, the schedule for what rooms are being used. So we turn the air on and off, and also can control the airflow and things like the base pump. So I did not realize y'all did not have that. So that's gonna be a wonderful access for y'all.
Yeah, so you would have an unoccupied and an occupied schedule.
Right.
And you could modify that throughout with setbacks and that sort of thing.
You're gonna love it. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Again, we're on first reading. Is anyone here who would speak in favor of bill number 3610? Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone here who's opposed to bill number 3610? Okay, I'm not seeing movement, so I'm going to close the public reading. Final board response, anyone? I'm not seeing any, so bill number 3610 will be held for future meeting. We're now going to move on to, we have two resolutions. We're going to move first to Resolution 2009.
Your Honor, I move that we read Resolution 2009 by its title.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we read Resolution 2009 by its title. It's made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor to discuss Resolution 2009, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
A resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving the reappointment of Elise Crane to the Public Funding Corporation of the City of Ozark, Missouri.
And I understand that Director Mary Edna is going to come explain or answer questions.
I'll be happy to answer any questions about the PFC. If I can tell you a little bit about its formation. It was created in November of '91. The purpose of it was to fund capital improvements for the city of Ozark. It was created specifically to be a financing agency for the city. And it has been used extensively in the last years to do that. Some of the projects, I'm just looking at a balance sheet here that have titles on them. The fire station land, which we don't maintain anymore. The North Sewer System, an Ozark School water line. Of course, we bought the Brick Street building through the PFC. Any project that the city needed to borrow money and didn't have to sell bonds, they used the PFC to do that with. So that was the purpose of it. It has four members that are appointed by the Board of Aldermen for 6-year terms. Be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, Alderman Campbell.
Not a question, but I got to do my math here. I think it was 16 years ago that Alderman Galloway and I both served on the PFC together. Do you recall that?
I do.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yes.
Yeah. So it's been around a while.
It has been. It's been utilized extensively to help the city with projects.
Okay. Any other questions for Director Mary Edna? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Again, this is open to the public at this time. Anyone here who is speaking in favor of Resolution 2009? Okay, I'm not seeing any move. Anyone here who opposed to Resolution 2009 wish to speak? Okay, now see, I'm going to close it now to the public hearing. Okay, any final response from the board? Okay. If not,
Your Honor, I move that we adopt resolution number 2009.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor on the motion to approve, to adopt Resolution 2009, do so by show of hands. Okay. And it does carry. Now we'll move on to Resolution 2010.
I guess I make a motion that we read resolution number 2010 by its title.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So the motion is that we read Resolution 2010. The motion was made by Alderman Campbell, second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of vote on the motion to discuss Resolution 2010, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
A resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving the reappointment of Mary Adams to the Public Funding Corporation of the City of Ozark, Missouri.
Any questions we want for Director Mary Edna? Okay, I am not seeing any. No board response. Okay.
I do have a.
Oh, yes, Alderman Galloway.
So I need to disclose that Mary Adams is my mother-in-law. And as it was my birthday yesterday, she gave me a gift. And for those reasons, I will be abstaining.
Thank you for that notification. Yes.
I make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2010.
Okay, and second by,
Second.
okay. The motion is that we adopt resolution 2010, motion made by Alderman Campbell, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of the motion to approve resolution 2010, do so by show of hands. And we do have one
Abstention.
session, as noted. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to be moving now to second reading of bills, which of course that means these are not open to public discussion. So we'll begin with the first bill for second reading, which is bill number 3599.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3599 on its second reading by title only.
And second by? Okay. The motion is that we place bill number 3599 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Hutchison. All in favor of voting to discuss bill number 3599, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to engage the legal services of Gilmore and Bell PC.
Okay.
And I presented this bill at the last meeting. As a reminder, this bill allows the city to enter into a contract for legal services from Gilmore Bell. They have previously provided bond counsel to the city of Ozark, and we're expanding their scope of services to add not just bond counsel, but also economic development services. So they will be able to assist the city in the contracting and negotiating of those economic development incentives. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Do we have any questions for our city attorney? I am not seeing any, so thank you. So.
Your Honor, I move that we enact bill number 3599 as bill number 24-080.
Second by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we enact bill number 3599 to become ordinance 24-080. The motion was made by Alderman Galloway, it's from Alderman Snyder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our second reading of bill number 3600.
I make a motion that we place bill number 3600 on second reading by title only.
Second by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place bill number 3600 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor on the motion to discuss bill number 3600, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance adopting an updated major thoroughfare plan.
Okay. We'll recognize Director Jeremy Parson.
Yes, I'm happy to answer any additional questions. This project, as you might remember from the last meeting, was directly associated with the annexation and the zoning that you saw tonight. So things are coming together to get this development moving in the right direction. So with that, any questions?
Okay. Alderman Hutchinson?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyone? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so
I move that we adopt bill number 3600 and enact it as ordinance number 24-081.
okay. Seconded by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we enact bill number 3600 to become ordinance 24-081. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, and second by Alderman Snyder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, we'll now move on to bill number 3602.
Move that we place bill number 3602 on its second reading by title only.
And seconded by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place bill number 3602 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill number 3602, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a developer cost share agreement with Flat Creek Excavating LLC for improvements to 11th Street from Oak Street to Robertson Street.
We'll recognize again Director Jeremy Parson.
Again, I wanted to, first off, thank you all for expediting the bill on the pavement plan that we put together. We're well on our way. We're through the pre-con. This part of the bill, or this additional bill, was to establish cost share. So if you have any questions whatsoever, we've got the full presentation, but happy to answer any of those.
Okay. Any questions for Director Parson? I don't want to rush anyone. Do we have enough time? Okay. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I move that we enact Bill number 3602 as ordinance number 24-082.
And second by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we enact Bill number 3602 to become ordinance 24-082. Motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Snyder. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson, were you an aye vote? Okay, thank you. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to second reading of Bill number 3603.
And I will make a motion that we place Bill number 3603 on its second reading by title only.
And second by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place Bill number 3603 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting to discuss Bill number 3603, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to purchase materials related to water main improvements.
And we'll welcome back Director Parson.
Again, any questions? This is a job that we're looking to self-perform. We're really close to tying up all the easements or acquiring all the easements. So if you have any questions regarding this project, please be happy to answer.
Okay, I am not seeing any questions, so okay, go ahead, sir.
I move that we enact Bill number 3603 as ordinance number 24-083.
Seconded by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we enact Bill number 3603 to become ordinance 24-083. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Hutchinson. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay. We'll move to our last bill for the evening for second reading. It's Bill number 3604.
I move that we place Bill number 3604 on its second reading by title only.
And seconded by?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place Bill number 3604 on second reading by title only. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Bill number 3604, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance adopting Chapter 420, Small and Cave Recharge and Finley River Watershed Protection Ordinance.
Okay. And once again,
Again, happy to answer any questions, but I do want to say thank you. This has been a team effort as well,
yes.
With multiple jurisdictions and several of you at this table. Even our state rep was involved on this. So it's good to see that sort of collaboration on a bill. So.
Okay. Alderman Metcalf?
Oh, he loves talking about this one.
Yeah. Okay. Any? Okay, I am not seeing any questions from the board. Okay.
I move that we adopt Bill number 3604 as ordinance 24-084.
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we adopt bill number 3604 to become ordinance 24-084. The motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. And I do appreciate the work that's been involved with this. This is one of the first things, I think, as mayor, that was brought to my attention. I know there's been, like you said, a lot of collaboration between different parties and everything, research and study. And thank you for the work in this. Okay. At this time, we're going to move to reports. And we'll begin with our city administrator, Eric Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. It looks like I'll be having fried chicken tomorrow afternoon.
Hey, it's really good.
So I just want to emphasize we're keeping the business local. So go Ozark. Thank you again for your action tonight on these bills, especially the Gilmore and Bell. That will improve our process, our internal processes, and I'm very excited that we're going to have that in place as we move forward dealing with various developers and developer-related projects. Chris Russell mentioned it already, but the state of the community address, please contact Chandra if you're going to be attending that. We want to get a good head count of who believes that you'll be attending. And this will be my first chamber event, and I promise no bad dad jokes. That was hard to say. No bad dad jokes. And that will conclude my report, and we'll get to more meatier subjects.
Did anybody have questions for our city administrator? Okay, I'm not seeing it. We're organized again now our planning and development.
Yes, a few updates on the report. Our Onward Ozark corridor study is nearing completion. We anticipate bringing that in front of the consultant and presenting that to the board at the second meeting in November. In addition, staff has continued to try to get updates on Burger King. We know that there's a lot of interest in that. We just cannot get a confirmed date when they'll start. Our understanding is they're still working through their financing and the contract with the contractor. La Casita is doing the remodel in the old Rib Crib building. That's the Mexican restaurant, planning to move in there. And then recently, Megan Bischoff and myself attended the Quad State Planning Conference with Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kansas. A great opportunity to visit with other professionals in this position and similar to our departments. It's nice and assuring to hear most communities experience the same opportunities, constraints, issues with what's going on in development world. So that's always nice to visit with some of those folks and hear what they're running into and bounce ideas off from that. With that, be happy to answer any additional questions.
Yes, sir. Alderman Snyder.
Do we have any updates with our vacant lot right here?
I might hand that over to Mr. Johnson. I know that Torgerson was trying to inquire with some meetings about getting an update, but I haven't heard anything on that recently about the alley and the electric area.
I do not have an update.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Director Parsons? Sorry.
Well,
Director, well, he's been up so much, I got stuck. Director Smith. Okay, thank you. Okay, next, we'll have our Park and Recreation report.
Good evening. I won't dive into all the nitty gritty, but it is probably my favorite time of year. I say that about summer too, and probably spring, but I particularly also enjoy this one as we get ready for all the holidays. You'll see we have a major Halloween event at the OC. We expect somewhere between 2,500 to 3,000 people on Saturday, the 26th. And so it's certainly an exciting time if anyone has the availability to join us and doesn't mind crowds. You'll also start to see our park maintenance team. I've told them they have to wait until at least Halloween, but you'll start to see them prepping for some of the other Christmas-oriented events that we have later on. Of course, our mayor's tree lighting is November 17th this year. And so there is a large tree that needs to be put up between now and then. However, again, not until after Halloween, and various other pieces. As you can see, membership, different programs, all those things are going strong. We're excited to see the start of our new recreation superintendent today. She joins us from Republic Parks and Recreation, and she oversees our recreation divisions of child care, events, and sports. And so she's going to do some really great things. Today was her first job, or first day. It was not her first job, I'm sorry. Today was her first day on the job. Again, she joins us with some experience from Wonders of Wildlife, Republic Parks and Rec, and other entities. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions on the state of parks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Any final comments from the board? Yes, sir, Alderman Metcalf.
I don't know if Jeremy could come back up. 2 weeks ago, I had a question about the lack of rain, and I know you said you were going to put some communications or get something together. I know it hasn't rained in those 2 weeks, and I did some research and found that it's only rained about an inch in Ozark in the last 2 months. I know there's no rain in the forecast this week, next week maybe. There's no guarantees. I'm just kind of curious, what does it look like if we go a couple more weeks without rain?
Yeah, we're going to continue to monitor it. And I want to thank the PIO group for putting out some messages to just kind of say, hey, this is a dry time. Please try to conserve in any way possible. Again, due to our extremely wet spring, we kind of had a little surplus. We had money in the bank, if you will. So we haven't seen it decline as quickly. But there are additional measures that we will be pushing. Like you said, I saw potential for rain in the 14-day forecast. And at this point, with all the projects we've got going, even I'm praying for rain. So, but we will continue to update you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else from the board? Okay. Yes, sir, Alderman Galloway.
I wanted to congratulate Alderman Aiken. He works as an assistant prosecutor for Christian County. And I think the other week he had his first jury trial working for that organization. He tried it. There were two criminal defense lawyers on the other side representing two defendants. The jury deliberated and convicted on all counts, one of them being an assault on a law enforcement officer. So congratulations, sir.
Anyone else? Okay. At this time, we are going to go to a closed session on personnel issue. Can we have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we go into closed session on personnel issue. The motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken?
Aye.
Alderman Campbell?
Aye.
Alderman Galloway?
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson?
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf?
Aye.
Alderman Snyder?
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes. Motion carries.
Okay. Now we're going to take like a 4-minute break, and a restroom break, and then we'll meet in there. Are we all here? Okay, is there a motion that we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn is made by Alderman Snyder, second by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor, do so say, great, show of hands. And it carries. We adjourn.
7:30 sharp.